And yeah, please. But there was one thing also. I am doing, hi Rodrigo and Luciana, maybe you guys could help me, because I am doing a cross Canada quote unquote tour. And I know that there's a huge amount of interest in connecting in the Niagara region, but my 3 Niagara colleagues are all going to be out of town when I wanted to go there, which was on the 14th of August. So if you are in the Niagara region or know somebody that might maybe in the Wealth Genius family or the Keyspire family might be open to coordinating an event with me for August 14th in the Niagara region, please reach out to us. We'd greatly appreciate it. We'll put our email in the chat and would love to set that up, okay? And obviously invite you guys. The Ottawa event does have a small cost. It's not my charge. It's the charge of the event organizers. But I think it's a taco event, so there's tacos included. So I think it's like 25 Canadian, so probably well worth it. So hopefully we'll see you all in Ottawa. I haven't been to Ottawa in so long. I'm going to be staying for a few days. So if you want to have direct one-on-one meetings, we can arrange that as well. I'd also love to hear in the chat how many of you are here for the first time, because a lot of you are repeat customers or repeat webinar viewers. You'd love to come and hear what we have to say, and usually there is something new every single time. But if you're new, would love to know that and what brought you here today, and whether you're interested in investing alone or investing to immigrate, and how we can help you with that journey. So I'm also going to ask for your forgiveness in advance. As you can probably hear, I have a very weak voice. I was extremely sick when I got home from Europe last week. I was sick on the ship. I thought I was better, and I obviously wasn't. So I've been on antibiotics and these cough pearls for already a week, but I'm not 100%. So you can hear it in my voice. So I have lozenges here, I have tissues, and I have obviously water and some warm liquid. So if I need to stop, please forgive me. Usually Mary picks up my slack, but she's nursing her baby right now, so that may not happen. So just, bear with us. It may not be as perfectly streamlined and seamless as it usually is, okay? But we're here for you, all right? So thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about how to use real estate investments and other business options to qualify for a US visa. We're going to explore ways to access amazing opportunities and wealth through real estate and business investments, so you can live the life of your dreams in the US, just like me. Disclaimer, I am a lawyer, so obviously I always have to make this disclaimer. Pretty much anything that comes out of my mouth suddenly becomes legal advice, and it's not. So this webinar is intended for informational purposes only. You cannot, and please do not count on any of the information as legal advice or otherwise. If you want to set up a consultation with me, we'll be giving you an amazing opportunity in just a little bit to do so directly with me, and then we can talk about your specific situation. But this is general information being shared with you for the purposes of educating you and informing you about some opportunities, as opposed to giving specific advice. A little about me. So I am known as the Canadian Whisperer. I am a Canadian living the American dream. I'm actually a dual citizen. I wish I had that nice tan right now, but I don't. I don't know why. I was just away for a long time. I'm a cross-border attorney and expert. I'm a licensed realtor and the chair of the EXP International Investment Committee, immigration concierge and quarterback, best-selling author, franchise broker. I've been featured in multiple mediums internationally. I'm a global keynote speaker, activist and philanthropist, and I'm a single mom to an almost teenage boy who will be having his bar mitzvah in November, and 2 dogs, one of whom has apparently been displaced as the cutest member of our team by Mary's baby. But we've decided that one of my dogs, she's 4-legged, and Mary's baby is 2, so we're okay. So anyway, if you're lucky enough to be a part of our Facebook group, you'll see pictures of my family, and the dogs are a very important part of our family. We couldn't live without them. We missed them terribly when we were away. These are just a few of my publications. Immigrant Hustle is a book in which I was featured. It's actually authored by a guy from Toronto, although he wrote about 50 US immigrants that came to America and made a story for themselves, and I was one of those 50. It's a very cool book if you get a chance to take a look at it. A Burning Desire to Succeed is about matching between franchises and franchisors. We work with a lot of franchise investors. It's kind of our second most popular vehicle to access a US visa. Our first most popular is real estate. How to Immigrate Through Real Estate is our signature program. But the Burning Desire to Succeed is a great book if you're interested in learning about franchises and why foreign investors are such great franchise owners, because they're driven to succeed and they have an impetus because their visa depends on it. And you'll learn a little bit more about why my book that was published in 2017 is called Finding Your Silver Lining in the Business Immigration Process. It's a book about all of the different business immigration visas, including the one on which we will focus most today, which is the E2 visa. So that's available on Amazon. Allow me to share my story. I wanted to pursue my American dream. I was living in Toronto. Actually, I lived right downtown, right near Skydome, and I had a comfortable life, but I wanted more. I wanted to live my best life away from the snow and the long, cold winters and rules. I literally hated driving in the winter. Like it was, I mean, you guys can relate. I couldn't stand it. I just hated it. I dreaded it. I took the subway whenever I could. And I wanted to get out of the cold, and I really didn't like what was going on in Canada at the time. I wanted to live in the sunshine, and I do, although it does rain every single day in the summertime in Florida. I wanted to pave the path to a more secure future. I wanted to access a broader economy with more opportunity, and I wanted to have a greater impact on others. I dreamed of immigrating to the US in pursuit of personal and professional happiness and freedom. And so soon after earning my law degree from Osgood, I realized I wanted to explore opportunities south of the border, and I undertook what ended up being a very long and painstaking process, the US immigration process. But we can make it less painstaking. But you know what happens to anyone, and it definitely happened to me. My first frustrating experience was in 1997 when I was actually turned away because I didn't have status. I was like that guy in Green Card in purgatory. I had no status. I was in the process of getting my visa, and they said, nope, you're not allowed to enter the US. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I'd already moved here. I was I had an H-1B, which is a non-immigrant visa. I had a job, but we were transitioning to a new H-1B, and it hadn't been processed yet. Well, in those days, that was pre-9/11, so I was able to get it turned around in less than a day. And the next day, I flew to Florida, and I was, left. And fortunately, at the time, I was able to go to my parents' home in Thornhill, and it wasn't the end of the world. But nowadays, that would not happen. And I will tell you something else. For those of you that are real estate investors, or even those of you that have businesses in the US, I'm hearing more and more about people that come to the US or try to come to the US to run their business or to make their investments or to check out their real estate, and they're turned away. Just yesterday, I was referred on another client that had that happen. They were told that they needed an E2 visa to run their business in the US. And this is going to be an increasingly problematic issue for those of you that do have business and investments in the US. The next bump in the road occurred a few years after. And I would not have ended up in the immigration field had this not happened. But when you hear about it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, for those of you that don't know this story. I had recently married a fellow Canadian who was also in the process of adjusting his status, or was he? I was shocked to find myself being escorted to a holding room once again on the return trip from my honeymoon. From there, my then new husband was detained by US CBP, expeditiously removed, held in immigration jail, and subsequently deported, all before my astonished eyes, on the way back from our honeymoon. You can't make this shit up. I lost precious time, money, and peace because I didn't have the proper guidance, and I was not very knowledgeable at the time about the immigration process. I was depending on the lawyers that I had hired. But I found a way, and I will do the same for you. So where am I now? I live in sunny Florida. I have a 7-figure business. I have secured my assets, and I have achieved location and financial freedom, and I get to travel freely. Well, this is a testament to that. I was just away for almost 6 weeks. And although we missed a lot of beats and the team managed the business, Miri also had a baby in that process. But the team managed the business, and it was really amazing. And I was able to really enjoy my time. The other advantage was I was 7 hours ahead. So my daytime was when everybody, most of my client base was sleeping, so I was able to enjoy the time even more. But now I'm coming to Canada for 3 weeks. I'm going to be speaking in 6 different cities, maybe 7 if we can get Niagara on the list. And I won't also miss a beat, and our clients will continue to be serviced at the level of service that they expect. Okay. So you don't have to suffer through this anymore. The rules, the conditions, the winter and the political pressure. We can find you a path to the US. And here are just some of our success stories. You guys may know some of these people. Carolyn Gallardo, actually, Victoria, we have to change Carolyn's spelling. It's Carolin. So if you could do that for next time, please, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Thank you. Mike Wolf are actually Calgarians, and I'm going to Calgary for the first time at the beginning of August. I've only spent like an hour there, so I'm super excited about that. And Jay and Corey Facette, of course, are also from Calgary. So for those of you that are Calgarians or no Calgarians, will be in Calgary, and I'm excited about that. Michael Gerber, author of The E-Myth, just a little small book that really started the whole path toward entrepreneurship for Americans. Mel Robbins, author of The 5-Second Rule, amazing, amazing entrepreneur, amazing person, and some of these clients and wonderful colleagues of mine as well. Just 1 second, I'm sorry. So these are just some of our testimonials, so recent testimonials that were that we received. Doug Ford, who's from Stony Creek originally, Stony Creek outside Hamilton. Lauren was very patient and understanding and wasn't trying to push me or put a square peg in a round hole. She was guiding us with care and consideration at every turn. Overall, her knowledge and experience are unparalleled and helpful, and we are very grateful. And Doug is in the process of changing. He did a change of status visa because he didn't want to leave the US, but now we are going to be doing a new visa in a complementary business to get him a 5-year visa. Monique and Randy H were actually referred by Doug, and we got them a visa investing in a lovely franchise, and they are super happy living on the Space Coast. In the end, our E2 visa application and accompanying business plan were approved in 8 business days. We couldn't be happier. It was pretty amazing. Carolyn Graham, she's from Cambridge, Ontario, just outside of London, as you know. I think you'd make a big mistake trying to do your own visa application. I don't know how people do it. It's complex and challenging, and there are so many considerations. You really need to have a professional team, and ours went smoothly because of Lauren's team. With our interview and the whole process, because we had everything done professionally, every I was dotted and T was crossed, and working with Lauren and her service is worth it for sure. Camila Quesada and her family, all from Chile, are in the process of getting green cards through the EB-5 process. Some of you may know of that. Lauren has been truly amazing, a gift to us because she is very focused on her clients and cares deeply. I really recommend that you work with Lauren without a doubt. So what is the big allure of America? Here are 5 key reasons to invest and immigrate to the US, just in case you weren't convinced yet. A freedom of choice, minimal restrictions, and a vast array of opportunities. For immigrants, this freedom is particularly appealing. In many parts of the world, societal or governmental restrictions can and do limit personal and professional choices, which is part of the reason that there's fewer entrepreneurs in Canada than the US, because of the brain drain for medical doctors and so on, because of all the rules and restrictions, and people just don't want to deal with it, so they come south. Open investment options. The US is recognized for having one of the most dynamic and diverse economies worldwide. It's renowned for its entrepreneurial spirit and open market, making it a magnet for investment opportunities. Quality of life. The US offers a high standard of living with access to exceptional healthcare and available healthcare, education, and recreational opportunities. Oh my goodness, I just realized, Victoria, we forgot to add that healthcare slide. Can you bring up the healthcare slide for me, please? The impact one, so I can bring that up at the end. So we have an amazing opportunity that I forgot to include in the slide deck to access US healthcare as soon as you get your ITIN even. And I'm actually part of it. And I'll tell you what, last week when I was so sick, I made I pushed a few buttons on the computer. I had a call within 2 minutes from a telehealth provider and had the prescription called in. It didn't cost me anything at all. Even the prescription, I think it was $5 for an antibiotic. And people are so scared of the US healthcare system. And I'll tell you that this option is a really amazing one. It's a health share option instead of a health care option, meaning that it's not like the same level of coverage, but it's amazing and it's accessible and it's available. And I'm really happy with it. So we'll share that with you a bit later. Business and career opportunities. The US is home to some of the world's most prosperous and companies and thriving industries. The country's open and competitive job market presents a myriad of opportunities for career advancement and entrepreneurship. For those with ambition and drive, the US provides a platform where talent and hard work can and do result in significant success. Entrepreneurial opportunities. Very few countries in the world offer the volume of entrepreneurial opportunities available in the US. The options are endless. If you're truly passionate about exploring your entrepreneurial spirit or investing in real estate or a business, there is truly no better country to do that than the US. And you can even get a visa in the process. For those driven by the opportunity to have an impact like me, whether social, economic, or otherwise, the US's doors are wide open and the market economy and open approach to doing business are designed to pave the path to impact-driven success. So there are a bunch of mistakes that people make along the way. How can you avoid them? Build your investment or immigration plan with guidance from the right experts, our team, obviously, because it's about so much more than just money. It's about your family. It's about your safety. It's about making the right choices. And it's about your future. So why do you need to act now? Well, winter is at your doorstep. Let's be honest, it's almost August and winter will be here before we know it. Maybe not to that degree in October, November, but it's coming. Freedom is really available in the US, personal and professional freedom, such as pursuing entrepreneurship. Financial potential in the US is far greater than almost anywhere else in the world. Excuse me. I'm gonna put in the message just a minute. Laws are constantly changing. Visa opportunities will adjust, quotas may be added, and you may find yourself watching from the sidelines if you don't act now, because the numbers will change and you'll be out of luck. Inflation rates will continue to rise and your money will lose value. The value of the US dollar will continue to be strong, particularly in comparison to many other world currencies, such as the Canadian dollar, which means that the value of your money will decrease. Initial real estate investment opportunities could be very low as 100,000 or even less in some locations. The value of your investments will increase if you act now, so that you'll be able to rent out your real estate and earn monthly income while you watch the value increase. Your family will access better opportunities, such as access to the top educational facilities. Strong, and by the way, one of the bonuses of bringing your family here is that you don't pay the foreign student fees once you have access here and status. And then that could save you as much money as you're investing in the business anyway. Strong infrastructure and systems, access to clean water, power, natural disaster support, and other similar measures so as to improve the quality of life. Diversifying your portfolio with a variety of more secure assets. Be your own boss by owning real estate or a business. Of course, our clients are our bosses, but that's another story. So, who wants to invest in real estate? I'd love to see a show of hands. I'm going to put the screen on so I can actually see you guys and see how many of you want to invest in real estate if I'm able to, can I? It's not sure it's letting me see. It's not letting me see it. Okay, fine. But how about if everybody just says aye, because I'm not able to see the screen.
You cannot see it, but
oh, yeah,
yes,
I'm sharing. Victoria, how many people are putting up their hands?
we have around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and keeps getting up.
Okay, so I'd say at least half the people here want to invest in share with you following the event, because we'll share our resources page. And this slide is 10 steps to successful US real estate investing. Whether you want a visa or not, this slide is relevant for you. And you need to follow these 10 steps, not necessarily in this specific order, but you need to follow these 10 steps in order to be successful in US real estate investing. What is a 1031 exchange? It's essentially a way to defer capital gains on the sale of investment properties. Now, can you access it as a Canadian? Yes. Will it be discounted when you bring the money back to Canada? Yes. How do you avoid that? By getting a visa and by accessing US real estate and not bringing the money back to Canada. But we'll talk about that a little more. Some hot markets. Central Florida, you can buy amazing properties that could rent out for significant amounts of money for under $500,000. Single family too. Southwest Florida, same deal. You can even buy this duplex for under $750,000. And actually this duplex in Cape Coral, which is kind of like the Miami of the West Coast, for under $400,000. This was sold by a colleague of mine that I highly recommend to all of my West Coast investors, West Coast of Florida, I should say. This property, $400,000, is in Delray Beach, which is a little bit north of me, next town north. I'm in Boca Raton. Or Hollywood, Florida, a duplex, which is 3 cities south of me in Hollywood, right near the Fort Lauderdale airport. Tucson, Arizona, these are properties that are available there. Our 3 primary investment locations are Florida, Arizona, and Texas. But we work with people that are investing all over the country: North Carolina, Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, South Carolina, Alabama, you name it. We take no prisoners. We are open to all the states. Hawaii, Nevada, you name it, really. Here's some Texas opportunities for $600,000 and $407,000 respectively, and that you can also do extraordinarily well, both on your ROI and cash flow, and also on your upside when you sell. And here's a couple more in northern parts of Florida, Deltona, Florida. Some opportunities there as well. And these are back in my neck of the woods, and also in Sarasota, $120,000, $130,000 for condos, or even this small single family home in Sarasota. What could you buy with less than $100,000? Well, you can buy stuff, believe it or not, in various locations, more like out of the way, like Sebring and Valrico, Florida, which are not Boca Raton, but they are available and they can lead to a visa if you invest properly. This slide is one of our famous downloads, 10 steps to immigrate through real estate. The first 8 of these steps are relevant whether you are planning to access a visa or not. You need to figure out your investment, number of doors, who's going to help you with your cross-border tax guidance and help you with your US taxes once you become a US taxpayer. Estate planning and asset protection, your ideal structure, professional consulting, your financial advisors, and all your other vetted professionals that are needed to make sure that this process is smooth and meets with your needs. Financing, how do you access financing? And yes, we do have financing options, and we literally have had every single one of our clients pre-approved for mortgages that allow them to access various options for real estate investing. And a business plan. And now I feel a business plan is necessary whether you're planning to get a visa or not. It's a different type of business plan, but it's very important because you don't just want to haphazardly invest and have no plan, right? So that's very important. And then numbers 9 and 10 are relevant only if you're applying for a visa. 9 is the legal guidance and the filing of the petition. And number 10 is visa success. And we've actually created a program called Achieve Your American Dream for all of our visa holders to ensure that their post-visa process is smooth and that they are ready and poised to renew their visa or move to a different category. This next slide is a business that Carolyn Gallardo, my partner, and I, she's from Calgary, my partner and I developed. It's called Strategic REI, Strategic Real Estate Investing. It's a custom-built business-in-a-box solution for investors that's available by invitation only. It's available to you if you are already a real estate investor and have some type of a proven track record. And if we like you, because we work so closely with you on this. And it includes everything. It's kind of like an unfranchise, because a franchise, you have to follow their model. In SREI, we work with your model. So you have the business model and we help you to modify it and finesse it and fine tune it so that it can qualify for a visa. So we help build a business around your plan. It's really cool. And so far we have a perfect track record and we plan on that continuing. So before I continue, I'm going to stop for just a moment and see if there are any questions. Our next step is, why do you want or need a visa? So I'm going to just stop for a moment. Wow, I have so few people on videos. Almost 70 attendees and only like 20 people on video. What about investing in a New York estate? I don't really understand that question. Rolu investing, do you want to expand on that? Because I don't know what you mean, a New York estate. Hi, anybody have any questions? Hello.
Can I ask a quick question about what you said about, I know about Florida, but why are Arizona and Texas hotspots?
I think it's for a lot of reasons. The first is that they're hot. The second is that real estate is readily available and there are great prices there. And the third is that they're open states in terms of like freedoms and so on, and less expensive than places like California, for example.
Okay, thank you.
Sure, of course. Anybody else? No questions? You guys are shy.
Yeah, that's a question.
Okay, when you said investing in Texas, Florida, Ohio, I asked about the state of New York. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm just giving you examples. New York, we have investors in Syracuse and Rochester and Buffalo and Niagara Falls, in Albany. So absolutely, we like I said, as the chair of the International Investment Committee for EXP Commercial, I have access to realtors all over the country, and that, for that matter, all over, I think, 17 countries right now.
Lauren, Rashid has a question also.
Okay, sure. Shoot.
Hi, Lauren.
Hi.
I just wanted to know, like, on the real estate, we can get like an E2 visa, or is it a different kind of a visa?
Real estate is an E2 visa, but you're not gonna, yeah. So let me be very clear, okay? It's super confusing. So if you want to use real estate as the baseline for a visa, you're going to need at least 8 doors, because they want to see that you're actively running a business. So a door, 1 or 2 doors is never going to work, okay? However, with our business model, strategic REI, that becomes the underlying business. So you only need 1 or 2 doors to support that investment in SREI. So that it's kind of like a combo business that we created. So I see that the question, the minimum investment for a visa, so it depends. If you're investing in a business, it's around 100,000. If you're investing in real estate, it's significantly more, because real estate is a tangible asset. So the government wants to see that your investment is at risk. Okay, so we built a business around allowing that to happen.
I see. Okay. Yeah. So if I purchase a property in say Florida, then I would be using your REI.
Not necessarily. Okay, so you can always invest, but if you want to get a visa, then we need to build a business model around the investment. You don't want to make the investment until we start building the business model toward the visa.
Okay, and what's the success on that? Like, do you have people that already have the visas?
Yes,
okay.
We have 4 so far, and we have 2 in the process of waiting on their interviews.
Any issues with the?
Lauren, if I may, Rashid, I would strongly advise that you schedule a consult with the team, because we go on case by case and we offer different options, like funding options, like many things that people aren't aware of. and I see that you really want to invest. So
Mhm.
we have a special promotion. Just
Yeah.
keep an eye at the end of the class.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
So hi, Anna. So flipping homes, if you're flipping 40 homes a year, then it could maybe work, but flipping homes is considered passive in the US. So what we do is build a business again around the home flipping that will allow you to present a business that's active. And that's where strategic REI could come in. Do you need to show experience in Canada? You can invest in the US with no experience in Canada. However, for strategic REI, for us to take you on as a partner, as an affiliate, we like to see that you have some experience at investing. Why do you recommend starting a business? I didn't say that, Paul. I don't love buying a business for one reason specifically, because you're buying somebody else's problems. So in my experience with clients that have gone and bought other people's businesses, they struggle. It depends on the business, of course. And if it's a franchise that you're buying a resale of a franchise, it might work. But it's just like with a home. When you buy a new home, you're buying new construction. Not to say that there aren't issues, but it's clean. And when you buy at somebody else's business, there could be lagging liabilities that may not show up on your search and so on and so forth. So I tend to prefer new businesses or new developments or franchises or real estate. I hope that helps. How about, okay, so I'm going to move on to the rest of the slides if that's okay, and we'll have another Q&A in a little bit. So why do you want or need a visa? This is the $6 million question. These are just some of the benefits of getting a visa. You get a social security number so you can work and live in the US freely. You build credit and access financing. You have the freedom to go back and forth freely, so you're not stopped when you go to visit your business in the US or go to visit your investments. You can send your kids to school. Your spouse gets to work freely. They can even start their own business. You can build your business and invest freely. You can establish strategic relationships all across the country. And you have status to do that. You avoid paying high taxes in Canada. You potentially build a business to access an eventual green card. So your investment can count toward an eventual green card application. And you can qualify for the 1031 exchange. So which visa is right for you? Well, these are just some. Well, these are actually not just some. These are the main business visas. The center part, the E2 and E1, and to some extent the L1 are the ones we focus on. We also do a lot of EB5s, which are green cards through investment. And I'll go through each of these key visas in just a little bit. The highly coveted E2 investor visa is based on a treaty. It's the most common visa for those that qualify. In other words, they're from countries that are treaty countries like Canada or Mexico or Colombia or France or the UK. And I'm sorry, it's starting to thunder here in always sunny Florida, so you're going to hear thunder in the background. The business must be at least 50% owned by a treaty national. So 50% Canadian owned, 50% Mexican owned. You must prove a substantial investment, which is subjective, and usually around 100,000, as I mentioned, for a regular business, or significantly more for a real estate business. We like to see at least 250 to 300. It cannot be marginal, meaning you have to be hiring people and you can't just be replacing your income. You have to be having an economic impact. It's a 5-year renewable visa that's renewable indefinitely, so you can renew it as long as you continue to have a going concern business. You can continue to renew, but there is no direct green card path unless you increase your investment and your number of employees. The E1 visa is based on trade. It's a substantial amount of trade between your home country and the US, and it must be at least 50% of the trade between the home country and the US. Excuse me. And they say substantial, again, this is generally interpreted to be around 100,000. It's renewable indefinitely, just like the E2, and like the E2, there is no direct green card path. An L1 is the intercompany transfer of a senior executive or manager. It allows a foreign company to send employees to the US to a related company. If you have a large company in Canada with multiple employees, not just one, usually 6 to 8, and you're planning on setting up a similarly large company in the US, an L1 could be the way to go. And it does lead to a green card if you meet the requirements. And we don't need to decide these things now. We decide these things usually during our onboarding call. Our process is a 3-phased Invest to Immigrate program, where phase 1, we work with you to select and set up your US business and figure out the visa. Phase 2, we develop a business plan with you. And in phase 3, we craft and submit your visa petition. And that's when you actually do your visa interview. What's the worst that could happen if you don't do this? Your investment could be at risk, your visa could be denied, you could be deported or removed, like my ex-husband. You could lose your business or be unable to run your business, be unable to visit your investments or properties. You could lose out on potential deals and relationships. You'll have limited options for credit or financing and a wide range of other challenges. So you need to do your due diligence. What is your next step? Well, I guess the slides are out of order, my bad. Before we go to the next step, these are just a few more of our testimonials from our amazing clients. Cesar Petrucci purchased a property management franchise, and he's been here now 2 years. I just loved working with him. He was a great guy. We lost about a year or 2 of time because our previous immigration lawyers didn't do what Lauren did. And when we met Lauren, she took us by the hand and guided us. She was organized, solved problems, and brought peace to our journey. I'm so grateful. Adele DiGiosia, whom some of you might know, a very active real estate investor, not a visa holder, doesn't want a visa, but we helped her get set up and established and helped her to make many purchases in the US. You brought all the pieces of the complex puzzle together without missing a beat. The top quality service, you and your team were our village. Denise Evans, similar situation, although Denise will be getting a visa at some point in the future. Lauren was very patient and understanding and wasn't trying to squeeze me and put a square peg in a round hole, kind of the same as Doug said. She would make the point to communicate very quickly. She gave great advice. She had amazing insight into many other matters, such as health insurance and educational requirements for my kids. As a real estate investor, Mike Wolf, who some of you might know, one of the most successful US real estate investors, Canadian-based US real estate investors. As a real estate investor and mentor, Lauren is a valuable part of my team. If you're considering investing in the US, it's important to understand taxation and asset protection, and Lauren advises in these and so many other critical factors. Lauren is extremely good at what she does. She helped me and my clients, and she can help you too. So why do you need to book a consult? Because it's about more than answering your questions. It's an opportunity to start working on a roadmap to achieve your American dream. It's the easiest way to evaluate your options without having to buy a business or pack your bags. And it's an opportunity to explore your particular situation in a private setting. It's a way to save time and money without chasing dead ends. We're so much more than an immigration firm. We'll be your partner and guide you every step of the way throughout the journey. Invest with confidence, invest towards your US visa, and invest to achieve your American dream. So let me ask you, isn't it time to take action and get those monkeys off your back? Act quickly. So this is our promotion for today. Book a consult by the end of this week, and if the deposit is made by the end of July, it will be matched equally. So we've never done this before, but if you make an $800 deposit the day of your consult or prior, we will match that dollar for dollar with an equal credit of $1,800 toward our services. And there's the link, and we'll be sharing that in the chat as well, to the friends and family discount, which is only available through the end of July. Okay, and we'll also be sharing a link in the chat to our Cross Canada tour. And we look forward to meeting all of you there. I'm going to stop the share and answer questions. So the healthcare, just so you know, it is called Health Share, and it's a way to access amazing healthcare options in the US without breaking the bank. And it's available once you get an ITIN number. So thank you, Victoria. Okay, let's see if there's other questions here that I missed. Do you have financing options for self-storage real estate investors? We have financing options for everybody once they're our clients. Would you recommend we start with an ITIN and open up a business bank account? You can't get an ITIN before you do anything in the US. It's not like the first step, but it depends on what you're looking for, Gary, in terms of what we would recommend as your first step. we would always recommend setting up a consultation with us as your first step so that we can figure out a strategy. Any other questions?
If you've already set up a business, but you haven't really started, it's not really operating, it's just like set up, is that a barrier to your services?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
But if you've already set up a business, but you haven't really started trading or anything like that, would that be a barrier?
No, it's never a barrier, but here's the thing, okay? Yes, there is a charge to our consultation, so let me explain a little bit about that in a moment. So sometimes it's better to start clean. It really depends on what's going on with that particular entity that you've set up, and it depends if it's the right entity for you. So I don't know the answer about that, but it's never going to be a barrier. Okay. Let me just address something which we should have addressed in the slides. So usually to speak with me, it's $397. Okay, we decided for the month of July to offer this discount of 50%. It's usually $97 to speak with my team and $397 to speak with me. To speak with me through the end of July, it's $197, and you'll also get the bonus of that $1,800 matching credit for our services. Okay, so it's a 50% discount on the consultation. So take advantage of it while you can, because it's not going to last. As a Canadian PR holder, can I still go through the E2 process? It depends, Nagarov. Are you from, if where are you originally from? Because you do have to be a citizen in order to qualify. Yeah, unfortunately, India does not have a treaty with the US for this visa, so we would have to set up a consult and find a different strategy for you, or depending on when your PR will become, when you'll become a citizen. Todd.
Hello, Lauren and Victoria.
Hi.
Nice to meet you both. Just have a quick question. Do you need to be vaccinated in order to migrate to the States?
So to get a green card at the moment, yes. To get a visa, no.
I see. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Of course. Anybody else have any questions? Nice to see you, Bruno. I hope you're doing well. Yes, Gary. Somehow I knew you were going to ask a question. I don't know why I knew that. I looked at you and I'm like, he's going to ask a question, and there you go. Yes.
Just wondering, does it matter, like if you were going to buy real estate in Florida, for example, can you set up like your entities in the state of Florida, or do you recommend doing it like in Delaware and states like
So
that? Like
that is a specific question that I can't answer. It's going to depend on what you're planning to do with your investments, and we go through a process. So we have a whole structure just for people that invest in real estate, and I will share the link, even though I said I wouldn't, in the chat. And this is a full service program that we offer, and we're actually just about to launch the same program for a $2,000 discount. It's going to be $8,000 instead of $10,000. And we bring in our tax advisor and our asset protection attorney to make sure that the structure is set up properly for you. For example, my LP is in Virginia, and it just depends on what you're planning to do with it, okay? And who you're sharing that investment with.
because I have heard that we're best to have an LP, not an LLC.
Yes, usually an LP LLC, but we don't do across the board. Like, it's not one size fits all, okay? So I see a question: if you're a Canadian citizen, why do you need a visa? Well, if you want to run a business in the US, you need a visa. You cannot run a business in the US or actively receive income in the US without a visa. That's why. Does the 8,000, go ahead.
Sorry, and by the way, for those Canadians that do not want to give away their Canadian citizenship, they do not have to, right, Lauren?
No, they never do. I certainly haven't, but you don't even have to live here to have an E2 visa. You can live anywhere in the world and be able to run your business here. Does the 8,000 include the actual setup? Yes, it does. It includes the setup. The only thing that's not included is filing fees, because we don't know where you're going to file. Okay, but yes, everything else is included.
How long does the process take from start to finish? So from initial consultation
You mean for
to,
the visa process?
yes.
So our visa process is split into 3 phases. It's a $40,000 investment. And that includes everything except filing fees. So everything from finding the business, helping you with the structure, helping you with all of the bank accounts and setting up everything and the business plan and the legal and everything from soup to nuts or A to Z, as it were, to get you through the process of getting to the interview and getting approved.
And how long does that take?
It really depends on the business. It can be as short as 3 months or as long as, a year. I mean, we have one client that's just lagging, but usually the first phase is 3 months, meaning you're finding the business and getting everything set up. And then you move on to the second phase. Our usual timeline is within 6 months. It also depends on how long the delay is to get an interview. So that is a big variable that we cannot control. But every single time that we've had a client that's had a long delay between the time of submission to the interview, we've been able to get an expedited interview.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know, Megan, who would have told you to wait to set up the structure until you bought property in the US, but that's the wrong advice. Absolutely, 100%. You need the structure first. It doesn't mean that you can't make an offer in your personal name or even close in your personal name, but you need the structure to avoid double taxation no matter what. And yes, you can still live in Canada, but you cannot access 1031 while living in Canada if you're bringing your money back to Canada. Money has to stay in the US, that's the key. If you're an active partner in a 10plex, do you have a case of experience in real estate? No, Rolu, I don't know, is that your name, Rolu Investing? Maybe you could just come on screen, please, and I'll try to address your question. Hi,
Lauren, it's
so
Rodrigo.
you're an active investor in a 10plex where? In Canada or in the US?
In US, in Ohio.
Okay, so what you're asking me is if you could potentially qualify for our Invest to Immigrate strategic REI program, the one by invitation only?
Well, yeah, that's correct. I remember
Okay.
based on the question that
I
someone
don't
asked you.
have an answer, but it's,
Yeah.
look, here's what it comes down to, okay? I'm the first bar of entry. If I like you and I like what you're planning to do, and I feel confident that you have the knowledge and experience that is needed, I introduce you to Carolyn. Usually Carolyn is almost like a rubber stamp because we tend to have exactly the same approach. So it's really just about making sure that it's a good fit and they're going to do what you say.
Yes, I understand. My question was more like based on the answer that you provided earlier, that someone asked about, okay, so let's say I have 1 or 2 properties in Florida, let's say, I will be able to have or to apply to the E2, and then you said no, only active partners such as
Yeah, you're not going to be able
management,
to
stuff like that.
apply for an E2 as a passive investor. No, never. You
Yeah,
can own 100
exactly.
doors. It makes
Yes.
no difference.
Right. But then if you are an active and not passive,
Well, no, you have to own 50% of the business and be actively involved in running the business.
got it. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, Eddie. Anybody else? Can you repeat the fees? No, so here's what I would recommend, okay? This is not about fees or anything. We'll be sending you links and all of that. What this is really about is getting you guys some basic information. And if you want to go forward, I recommend setting up the consult using that friends and family discount. Our fee for the real estate investing structure is $8,000. Our fee for our full service package is $40,000. Okay, the only things that are not included in those fees are filing fees, or if you have a spouse or children, that's a separate small incidental fee, which we don't know. We don't know what that is because we don't know how many kids you have. So usually it's around $1,000 a person. I hope that helps. Okay. Any other questions before I sign off for today?
We have a question, Lauren. Is it mandatory to have a consult to hire your services?
No, but we recommend it because we want to make sure that there's a fit. I don't want you guys to expend $40,000 unless we make sure that there's a fit on both sides and that I can actually help you to achieve your goals. And don't worry, everybody that's on this call today, I'll credit you for the $200 toward our services, so that's not a problem. Okay, David, I see a question. Is there any guarantee? There is no guarantee. We have no idea what the government is going to say ever. We would never, ever guarantee a result. You don't know that until you go to the interview. The only guarantee that I have for you is that I've never had a denial. So I'm not planning on starting anytime soon, which is part of why we like you to have a consultation first. Gary, thank you. If you could email me, that would be awesome. I'll put our email in the chat and I would love that. Thank you. That's our email, okay? Thank you. Thank you, Rodrigo. Nice to see you. I know I'm going to meet you in Ottawa. I haven't seen you in a tank top before. I didn't recognize you. It's my Brazilian, Canadian, Ottawa friend who's already been approved to invest in strategic REI and is a wealth genius coach with his wife Luciana. Oh, there she is. I see her. Hi. So they're going to be on their way soon enough. Yes, absolutely, Grace. There is a way to do an evening. As a matter of fact, all you have to do, just go to here's what you do. Okay, if you would like to send us an email and request an evening meeting, we could set that up. Go ahead and schedule any time so that you take advantage of the offer, right? And then we can reschedule to an evening. That's never a problem for me, okay? I'm a single mom. My kid plays baseball every day, so yes. Okay. And you're in Newmarket, right, Grace? Okay, cool. So you'll come meet us at one of the meetups in Toronto in the GTA. Okay, absolutely. All right, I'm going to sign off. Nice to see all of my friends. Hugh, we're waiting on you, you know, we're here for you, ready to go. So so we look forward to this, and we'll follow up with everybody and send you the recording and so on and so forth. And if you guys have people, once we send out the links to all of the meetups that are happening in Canada, if you guys have people to bring them away. And yes, we can work with anybody from any countries. From your answers, does this mean you need a visa based on whether you're, no, as a passive investor, you don't need a visa. As an active investor, you do. As an active business owner trying to earn income in the US, you definitely should and do need a visa. As I said yesterday, or the day before, a client or prospect was denied entry. They were going to visit their properties in Albany or Syracuse, I can't remember. And they said, nope, you can't go in, you don't have a visa, bye-bye. And this is going to continue to happen in increasing numbers. Okay, so thank you, everybody. We'll speak to you all soon. I hope to see you on a consult in the very near future. Bye.